Hello Year 3 and welcome to Lesson 2 of Reading this week, and we're looking at Chapter 7, The Silver Arrow. Our learning objective today is to explore how the author changes the atmosphere of a story. What's the atmosphere? It's like the mood, isn't it? How you feel in a story. Okay, get the date down into your books and the learning objective that's on your screen, and underline them neatly with a ruler and a pencil, and then we'll move on to the Robin Hood recap to see what we read about yesterday. Okay, we'll do that in 3, 2, 1. So what do you remember? Well, who did Richard Malbete get taken to? What did this mean for the Sheriff of Nottingham and Gisborne? And what does treachery mean? Some retrieve and define questions there. See if you can answer those 3 questions, and then you can have a look at your answers and have a look at my answers. We'll have a look in 3, 2, 1. So, Richard Malbete was taken with the letter to Sir Hubert de Warenne, who is an important person loyal to King Richard I. He will now have to answer for the crimes he has committed. Doesn't look good for Malbete. The second question, when King Richard I returns, he will be told about the letter and their employment, so the Sheriff in Gisborne's employment of a man that has broken the law. This means that they've betrayed the king and will probably be punished once the king returns. And finally, treachery means betraying or being disloyal to the king by plotting against him. So that's something you don't want to get caught doing. The Sheriff in Gisborne are in a bit of trouble if King Richard I comes back. Let's have a look at the vocabulary for today. Our first word is snarled, and we looked at this before, didn't we? And that's to say something in an angry, bad-tempered voice. So you can imagine that Gisborne and the Sheriff snarl quite a lot. Raged. So if you rage about something, you're expressing violent anger. Bowman. A bowman is someone who uses a bow and arrow and arrows. Lords. Lords, well, if you are a lord, you're an important person with that as a title, and money, and land as well, usually, if you're a lord. So a very important person. The next word is archery, and we know that that is what Robin was doing with the Norman captain. They were shooting at a target with a bow and arrows in a competition, weren't they? Or a contest is a competition or tournament. So you know what I'm going to ask you to do next? You need to write some sentences using these red words, okay? So try to use at least 3 of them. Pause the video now and do the best you can. Remember those capital letters and full stops in your sentence and any punctuation that you might need to. We'll have a look at my example in 3, 2, 1. The sheriff snarled and raged as his bowman missed the target in the archery contest. They couldn't have been happy there. You see, I've made up a sentence, which is exactly what you need to do when it comes to this part of the lesson. So you're making up your own sentences related to Robin Hood, okay? Or the sheriff in this case. So I used snarled, raged, bowman, archery, and contest. I think I was only one I didn't use, and that was lords. Maybe I could have got that in. I'll let you work out how. Okay, let's have a look at the reading for today then. Let's go back. Chapter 7, The Silver Arrow. I say again, it was a foolish thing to do, Gisborne, said the sheriff impatiently. Now de Warenne has your letter. He is King Richard's man, and will hold it against us until the king returns. If he ever does, replied Sir Guy of Gisborne sullenly, and until then, de Warenne can do nothing. But the prince Prince John can do nothing about your letter, the sheriff interrupted, and will not be pleased at your stupidity. The Norman knight stopped pacing. He thumped the table. You had Robin Hood here in this very castle, and let him go, he raged. How was I to know that Potter was Hood in disguise? Snapped the sheriff. You should have known it when he split the stick, snarled Gisborne. There is only one bowman in all England who can hit that mark. The Potter missed with his second shot, said the sheriff. On purpose, you fool, so that you would not know him, raged the knight. This arguing will not get the letter back, said the sheriff, hoping to get the talk away from how he had been tricked. Gisborne turned around angrily and said, Nothing will get the letter back, but if we could capture and hang Robin Hood, then Prince John would at least think more kindly of us. Agreed, said the sheriff, but how? Your pardon, lords, said a voice from the shadow. Yes, Hugo, what is it? Demanded the sheriff. I watched the Potter, Robin Hood, I mean, very carefully when he shot his second arrow, he said. Well, what of that? Snarled Gisborne. He is probably the greatest bowman in all of England. He is proud of his skill, and I know that it was hard for him to miss deliberately. I do not think he could miss again on purpose. Come to the point, man, said Gisborne impatiently. The point, my lord, is that if you announced a great archery contest to be held here in Nottingham, Robin Hood would be sure to enter. He would come in disguise again, of course, but my men would be ready to arrest the winner. Who would be Robin Hood? Said the sheriff. It would never work, he said doubtfully. He would not dare to come here again so soon. I am sure he would, said Hugo. To make doubly sure, it could be a contest between Saxon and Norman. Hood is even prouder of his birth than he is of his skill with the bow. What do you say, Gisborne? Asked the sheriff. What have we to lose? Replied Gisborne. If we take a force of men-at-arms into the forest, we are cut down by arrows from bowmen we often do not see. Balaam's plan is useless now that his man, Malbete, has been taken. So let us try this way, to lure the wolf from his lair. Questions then. We have 5 questions. An atmosphere of evil people there, with the sheriff and Gisborne and Hugo plotting against Robin Hood. So, where are the sheriff and Gisborne in this chapter? Where are they? What's the setting? And how do we know? Question 2. What language does the author use to describe the atmosphere of their conversation? Question 3. What is Hugo's plan to capture Robin Hood? Question 4. Do you think Gisborne likes Hugo? Why? And finally, what is an archery contest? We've got retrieve, explore, infer, and define there. Lots of different types of questions. Okay, pause the video now. Have a go at those 5 questions in your book. And then once you're ready to check your answers, unpause the video and we'll go through it together. We'll have a look at those answers in 3, 2, 1. Okay, the sheriff and Gisborne are in the castle because Gisborne thumped the table and raged to the sheriff that he had Robin Hood here in this very castle and let him go. The author uses words such as snarled, raged, snapped, angrily, demanded, and impatiently to show that Gisborne and the sheriff's conversation is not a happy one. They are furious that Robin Hood has got away and made them look like fools. But the atmosphere changes when Hugo comes up with the plan to hold an archery contest. Hugo tells the sheriff to arrange an archery contest between Saxons and Normans to lure the wolf from his lair, so to get him outside. And this means that he thinks it will make Robin want to come along to win the contest. I don't think, well, this is my opinion, I don't think Gisborne likes Hugo because he snarled at him and he was impatient when Hugo was coming out of his plan. And finally, an archery contest is a tournament with bowmen or archers firing arrows from their bows into a target to win the silver arrow. Okay. What will happen next? It's your chance to predict. Will Robin go to the archery contest? Will he win? Will he escape? What do you think will happen? Pause the video now. Write a couple of sentences in your books. Write 2 sentences to say what you think will happen at this archery contest. We'll move on to the final slide in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so next time we will continue our adventure, but what I'm going to leave you with is a task. And any bit of writing that you've done today, I want you to see if you can use a thesaurus to improve your vocabulary today. Or maybe you can find it on Google as well, there's different ways of finding synonyms, which are words that mean the same things. Okay, see if you can up-level any of that vocabulary. So our reading gems that we covered today are retrieve, explore, infer, define, and predict. Wow, look at all of that work. Well done, everybody. Join me again tomorrow for some more Robin Hood, and we'll find out what happens next.